until we get that balance, to figure out how we're gonna balance the habitat wildlife that we created, or habitat that we created versus keeping the water floods back. It's a balancing act. So I say all of that to say that I was the culprit who brought this up. At this point in time, especially seeing the costs of everything, I can't really personally myself go forward doing something like this. I know we have a flotilla that could run out for emergencies, but this is a strain upon EMS, the police department. It just opens a can of worms that I don't know as I personally want to open. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner McDowell, you have 8 minutes. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Luke, because I could not have said it any better. My first concern was increased recreational use. We just got done doing a methodology that's saying these canals are not for recreation, they are strictly for drainage. And that is the primary purpose. So it seemed kind of hypocritical to say, hey, let's throw some boats on these drainage canals and make that a kind of like a primary instead of the drainage. So it's like, which is it? Is it recreational or is it drainage? And I don't want to send a mixed or wrong message. Then I look at all the cons. There's 10 cons.
Right.
That's huge. They're not little ones either, the environmental impact. I hope at some point we're gonna have a conversation about the spraying of these canals, because this is our city's water. We don't have a marine unit, so if we're putting in these ramps, then there's, again, a con, the liability, that we can't rescue if there's an accident. We have the problem with the chemicals already going in there, and now we're gonna add oil and gas. And disturb the wildlife that's trying to survive in these canals to help the ecosystems. So I have 4 or 5 other questions relating to costs. I don't understand how we could go from 50,000 to 200,000 for boat ramps. I'm not even gonna go there. Because I am adamantly against this from the get-go. So thank you, Commissioner Luke, for pointing out all the other reasons of being against it.
Well, I didn't even mention the backyards to the people.
Oh, yeah.
You got motorboats going up and down, you're disturbing residential areas.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner McDowell. Yeah, I'm not for putting gas and oil and boats like that out there. I do not mind kayaks and, maybe even a trolling motor, that's not pumping out chemicals. But I do want to say we do have a lot of people that go out there and go fishing. And I do want to put out, I do want to hear what you have to say about the spraying and the fish that people eat, because I personally would eat the fish that I caught out of there. So can you, because I don't think anyone was trying to say anything, but we do have a lot of fishermen out there, and I don't want there to be any confusion with what the city is doing. We're not actively poisoning our fish, is that correct? And so I would like you to speak to some of the chemicals just quickly. You have I've got 7 minutes left.
Okay. Chuck Speak, the operations maintenance manager, Public Works. The chemicals we use are approved. They're used in many, many fishing areas. Lake Okeechobee being one, that these same chemicals are used. People fish Lake Okeechobee every day. It's known worldwide for fishing. People eat the fish out of the lake. I've eaten fish out of the lake. These chemicals are approved by the federal government. They're approved by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission for us to use in the waterways. There's no evidence that there's any trace elements of the chemicals that we use in any fish. That's not been stated anywhere that I'm aware of. And again, everything we use is on our permit that FWCC provides us.
Thank you. That being said, no, I do not want gasoline. I do not want oil in there, because that would not be good for any of the wildlife. But I do, I do appreciate the work you guys do, keeping it flowing. And I just wanted to make sure that we had some information out there, that it's not as cut and dry as what some people think it is. Some people are just saying, hey, it's poison, it's poison, it's poison, and it's not. So Commissioner Emmerich, you have 8 minutes, the floor is yours.
Yeah, it seems like we're all in agreement up here. I've fished those canals, gotten a lot of snook out of there. I've eaten a lot of fish from those canals. Hasn't killed me yet. My wife's probably gonna kill me a hell of a lot sooner than a fish would, so that's all I had.
Okay. Well, that was quick. Okay. Well, it looks like that we actually have a decision to not move with anything on this, so there's no motion needed. This entire agenda, I guess, will just fall the wayside. We'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much for your effort.
All right, we're moving on to item D.
That's full.
This one be done.
All right. Do we have any public comment, Vice Mayor?
I do not have any cards.
All right, and with that, we are adjourned. Going on to the next meeting.
Isn't usually most of the fish kills because of the dissolved oxygen?
We're going on to solid waste.
Load, yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. But I didn't want to say unless I asked you, pushed it.
Yeah.
It's not good chemicals. It's
It'll even come back. Is that what we're
Correct.
going?
Waiting for it to come back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's true. Yeah, thank you, Chuck.
Just keep going on stuff.
All right, whenever you're ready. Is that ready? All right, good afternoon, and we are back with our Solid Waste District meeting. It is October 22nd. It is 5:12 PM, and we're in the city chambers. Those present with me are Commissioner Luke, Vice Mayor McDowell, Sub-Mayor Hanks, Commissioner Emmerich. We have our Assistant City Manager Branco, our City Attorney Slayton. We have Miss Reed down there, being our fantastic people person down there. Appreciate you being here. We have Ms. Hale as our recording secretary, and Fire Chief Titus and Chief Garrison are also back there, along with other staff, and, just pretty faces. We appreciate those pretty faces we get to look at.
Wow.
All right, with that, I will entertain an approval of this agenda.
I'll make a motion, Mayor, to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it, but somehow your motion light came back up.
Here we go, I'll do it again.
And that motion carries. Vice Mayor, do we have any public comment on this?
I have no public
All
comment.
right. Ms. Branco, did we have anything pulled for the consent on solid waste as of yesterday at noon?
No, Mayor.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent.
Make a motion, Mayor, to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I have a motion on the floor by Vice Mayor McDowell, seconded by Commissioner Luke. Let's take the vote. And that motion carries, and I am under the assumption we still have no public comment.
30 seconds later.
Just want to make sure I get out there that I'm calling for it. Meeting adjourned. You waited for me to adjourn that, didn't you?
Dog, you were.
Just making sure you're good.